Welcome to Core Knowledge Language Arts. My name is Susan Lambert, the Vice President of CKLA here at Amplify. Thank you so much for your interest in the comprehensive ELA program that gives your teachers the instructional guidance they need to help all students become proficient readers, effective writers, and thoughtful conversationalists. The CKLA program builds foundational skills and strong comprehension in receptive and expressive language within a context of knowledge and vocabulary development. We're all too familiar with kids who seem to read on track until they hit the infamous third grade wall. But you may not know that researchers have now identified the cause of the third grade wall and how to address it head on. They had two groups of kids read passages about a baseball game and reenact that passage with little figures. Which group do you think performed better? Kids who were weak readers but knew about baseball, or kids who knew little about baseball but were strong readers? Surprisingly, it was the weak readers. Their background knowledge gave them such an advantage in comprehension that they not only closed the gap with their strong reading peers, but they surpassed them. The clear finding in this study and in many others involving different subject areas, the reading gap is the knowledge gap. Only one core program helps close this gap by placing knowledge at the center of instruction. CKLA helps kids build knowledge while ensuring mastery of skills and instilling a deep love of reading. CKLA content, diverse in topic, time, and culture, builds within a grade and across grades, creating extensive background knowledge and an intricate web of vocabulary. For the next several minutes, I want to orient you to the program materials within CKLA. As you review these materials, remember that the skills and strategies developed within this program are designed to integrate reading, writing, speaking, and listening standards to form a teaching and learning process that produces results. We regularly hear from educators across the country that students are reading more, writing better, and developing impressive vocabularies while being exposed to content and topics which are engaging and more motivating. Recently, a fourth grade teacher told me that sometimes the bell will ring and kids will beg for just a few more minutes. To directly quote him, "When you have an English language arts curriculum that competes with recess, that's a big deal." So let's get oriented to CKLA so you can dig in and see the magic for yourself. Please start reviewing this program by using the program guide, which is an important resource for you. It explains the structure of the program, the development of the program, each component within the grade levels, and the how and the why of how to deliver quality instruction. As you review the materials, keep in mind that CKLA has a unique program structure. In kindergarten through grade 3, there are two strands of instruction distinctly designed to deliver unique instruction. The listening and learning strand is about 60 minutes, and the skills strand is about 60 minutes. In the next couple slides, we'll talk more about the specifics of those strands. By the time you get to grades 4 and 5, you have an integrated strand of about 90 minutes that presents some unique units in the development of CKLA. So grades 3, K through 3, two distinct strands. The skills strand, where students learn to read and learn to write, and the listening and learning strand, where students learn to use the reading process to extend their knowledge base and write to do the same thing. Learning to read and learning to write, all captured within the skills strand, where you'll have systematic phonics presented. You'll have handwriting, grammar and language conventions, spelling, and the writing process. Be sure to look at the Unit 1 teacher guides and go all the way back to the teaching resources at the end of the unit, where you'll find really unique information about the how and the why of phonics instruction. Also, be sure to look at each of the unit overviews in the teacher guide to help you understand what's happening within each of those units and how those skills of grammar and language and spelling and writing are interwoven within each unit. In the skills strand components for kindergarten, you'll have teacher guides, workbooks, readers, and big books. Ancillary materials include some sound cards, some large letter cards, sound posters, and blending picture cards. All of these used to help students acquire the English code. Students will each receive a chaining folder, and you will have one large box of small letter cards to be used with those chaining folders. This is where students practice making words and word chains. The skills strand components in grade 1 also include teacher guides, workbooks, readers, and big books, along with spelling cards, large letter cards, consonant and vowel flip books, and individual code charts for the students to record their code knowledge. In grade 2, the components are teacher guide, workbooks, readers, some timeline cards to help students sequence some events in some of the units. Some spelling cards or ancillary materials along with, again, consonant and vowel code flip books and those individual code charts. In grade 3 skills strand, you'll have teacher guides, workbooks, and student readers. Pay special attention to those student readers that are decodable in grades K through 2, as they're intended to be chapter books. They are chapter books with tables of contents and rich narrative that builds throughout the reader. It builds characters, storylines, really rich content in these decodable chapter books. Also intended to help scaffold students in that staircase of complexity so they have access to the grade level complex text. The listening and learning strand is the strand where we're helping students understand how to use the reading process to learn and how to use the writing process to learn. This is all about comprehension in the read aloud environment as well as in the writing environment. Students are exposed to read alouds for about 2 to 3 weeks in each domain, and this helps them develop close reading strategies as this teacher introduces text-based discussions along with some implicit and explicit vocabulary. It also includes extension activities where students are applying the concepts of comprehension in the writing environment or taking paper to pencil to paper. Note that there is a nice variety of literary and informational text within the read alouds, and just because a domain or a unit has a title like Ancient Rome, which would seem to be an informational, there are also elements of literary text incorporated in many of those informational domains. Components for the listening and learning strand in K through 3 are teacher guides, workbooks that are consumables, flip books, images that help with the comprehension of the read aloud, and image card sets that are used for a variety of purposes in the instruction in the listening and learning strand. When we get to grades 4 and 5, we now have integrated skills and knowledge together into one 90-minute strand, where you'll see an extension of complex text activities, close reading strategies, all collaborative conversations, all of those things we've been working on in kindergarten through kindergarten through third grade come together in a robust way. In grades 4 and 5, there are several different types of units that have different components, and we'll go through each of those now. The first type of unit is similar to the listening and learning unit in grades K3, where you have a teacher guide, a student activity book that is a consumable, and a student reader that is not consumable. Grade 5 includes a contemporary fiction unit where you'll have a teacher guide, but the writer's journal actually acts as a combination of the activity book and the student reader. This writer's journal is a consumable. The grade 5 unit Don Quixote includes a teacher guide and activity book, but also comes with a trade book, The Adventures of Don Quixote. This trade book is not a consumable. Again, the texts in grades 4 and 5 are complex, full of rich vocabulary, developing background knowledge, and helps scaffold students through that staircase of complexity. Grade 4 and 5 each have a poetry unit that contains a teacher's guide as well as a poet's journal, and this poet's journal is a consumable. And the last type of unit in grades 4 and 5 is what we call quests. Real engagement and student motivation through an adventure-based learning. These quests are a little unique to the other types of units, so take time to read through those teacher guides to understand the purpose and the adventure contained within these units. You will get a box in grade 4 of Eureka Student Inventor, and inside that box will have several manipulatives to help you administer the program. The same with A Midsummer's Night's Dream. So enjoy reviewing those. You'll also have access to a digital site that will give you digital resources and support materials. And those support materials not only include teacher guide materials, but also additional support like assessment and remediation guides to help students who need extra time or gap filling for acquiring the code, along with supplemental guides that will help give you additional support and ideas for that listening and learning strand. I know you're going to enjoy these materials as much as those that are benefiting from them in the classroom every day, teachers and students and parents. I also know that you're going to enjoy the CKLA content that builds broad background knowledge and really critical vocabulary for all of our students, many who may never be exposed to it before middle school and high school. With CKLA, teachers are empowered to bring the world to their classrooms. Thank you again for taking time to review Core Knowledge Language Arts. Enjoy!